Welcome to this Executive Explainer. Listen, if you're a hotel owner, a general manager, or an executive trying to keep that competitive edge in luxury hospitality, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're unpacking a comprehensive strategy report all about a major shift in how guest experience is measured and optimized. We're not talking about basic hospitality here. We're talking about the hidden architecture of true service excellence.
All right, let's just dive right into it. As a luxury operator, I know you rely heavily on metrics, reviews, and bottom-line figures to gauge your property's performance. But looking at the data today, the single most important evaluation of your property actually comes from someone you're never going to recognize. I'm talking about the modern mystery guest. They're the ones writing the report that will ultimately dictate your market standing.
To make all of this actionable for you, our agenda today is broken down into 5 strategic pillars. We'll hit the new luxury standard, the invisible evaluator, optimizing internal operations, elevating guest perception, and finally, the 2026 industry shift. So, let's kick things off with Section 1, the new luxury standard, and how we're shifting the paradigm.
We are seeing a really fundamental paradigm shift in luxury hospitality right now. The old ways of measuring success, they're rapidly becoming obsolete. The research draws a super stark comparison between the past and the future of hospitality. Basically, we're moving entirely away from those traditional, transactional, operational checklists. What used to be a simple audit of, is the room clean or was the drink served on time, has completely evolved. The new standard of luxury focuses on a holistic reading of emotional perception. It's all about sensations. It measures how it actually feels to be cared for, really assessing that quiet understanding and anticipation of a guest's needs before they even say a word.
This quote right here brilliantly illustrates the core shift happening across the industry. Luxury is no longer defined by what is present, it is defined by what is perceived. Think about it. A perfectly prepared suite or a massive expensive chandelier, sure, that might impress a guest momentarily. But that's simply what is present. What truly lingers with the guest, what actually ensures they come back and advocate for your brand, is the perfectly timed, intuitive gesture. It's a welcome that feels genuinely personal rather than totally rehearsed. Luxury is now measured in emotional resonance.
Moving right along to Section 2, the invisible evaluator, and looking beyond the basic audit. Now, the whole concept of a mystery shopper has its roots way back in the 1940s retail sector, but wow, has it drastically transformed. Forget that old idea of a strict operational auditor walking around with a clipboard. Today's mystery guest is a highly trained professional evaluator who blends completely seamlessly into your hotel. They act as a holistic interpreter of the guest journey. They aren't just in there ticking boxes. They are observing the really subtle choreography between your staff and the physical space around them. They arrive completely unnoticed, looking just like any other traveler, to interpret the true emotional reality of the stay.
In this evaluation journey, it builds across the entire stay, hitting absolutely every single touch point. Step 1 actually starts before they even step foot on your property, evaluating those digital reservation and arrival processes. Then Step 2 involves a really deep dive into staff interaction, the dining experiences, and the overall vibe and atmosphere of the facilities. And finally, Step 3 scrutinizes the departure. They'll actually mirror common consumer behaviors, like, say, requesting a really last-minute arrangement, just to see how your team handles the nuances of genuine hospitality when they're under a bit of pressure.
Which brings us to Section 3, optimizing internal operations. This is all about building the foundation.
Look, you absolutely cannot achieve exceptional guest perception without building an incredibly strong operational foundation first. As we look at building that foundation, the value of a mystery guest program very clearly bifurcates into internal wins and guest wins. There is a direct correlation here. When you use objective feedback to improve operational efficiency internally, it directly fuels an enhanced external experience for the guest. Enforcing adherence to standards internally, that creates brand consistency across all your global locations. And most importantly, utilizing targeted staff training internally is exactly what empowers your team to anticipate individual guest needs externally.
Breaking down that internal ROI even further, utilizing objective, completely unbiased feedback from mystery guests allows your management team to do several vital things. We're talking about efficiently streamlining check-in and out delays, enforcing strict adherence to your standards, and rapidly identifying exactly where targeted training is needed. You can also refine your existing policies. But honestly, perhaps the most profound internal benefit highlighted in this report is building a true culture of accountability. When your staff knows they're being evaluated on the nuance of their care, interactions shift from being just technically correct to deeply, deeply engaged. Excellence becomes something that's embodied, not just enforced.
Let's turn to Section 4,
elevating guest perception, focusing on the external ROI.
So let's see how these internal adjustments dramatically elevate the external, guest-facing perception, because this is where your brand actually differentiates itself in the minds of travelers. All that internal fine-tuning translates directly to a superior guest experience. The external benefits mean you are constantly enhancing overall satisfaction and ensuring absolute brand consistency. It shouldn't matter if the guest is staying at your property in New York, Tokyo, or Mallorca. It has to be consistent. It allows your staff to anticipate individual needs before a guest even has to ask. Plus, utilizing mystery guests allows you to benchmark your services directly against your competitors, giving you a crystal clear view of exactly where you lead and where you might be lagging.
The absolutely crucial point to remember here is that consistency is no longer about repetition, it's about coherence. True luxury isn't about delivering a robotic, repetitive script to every single guest who walks through the doors. It's about coherence to your brand's core values. It's about a concierge interaction shifting from a standard transaction to a deeply personal engagement. And when your entire team operates with this shared understanding, the mystery guest almost becomes irrelevant, because that high standard exists whether anyone is watching or not.
Finally, we reach Section 5, the 2026 industry shift, and the market proof backing all of this up.
What we've been discussing today isn't just theoretical. It is a massive macro industry trend happening globally right now in 2026. This evaluation model is officially the new standard. Just look at how the top-tier industry leaders are already adapting. The Ritz-Carlton is actively using these detailed reports to recognize and reward staff for those intuitive above-and-beyond moments, which really encourages that behavior team-wide. Four Seasons is employing hidden evaluators to assess both front and back-of-house operations to guarantee their consistent global protocols. And Mandarin Oriental? They're deliberately using mystery guest evaluations to benchmark specific touchpoints, like room service, against broader industry standards to ensure they stay at the absolute pinnacle.
But the most staggering proof of this industry shift is represented by the number you're looking at right now: 2,500. Right now, the Ministry of Tourism in Morocco is launching a massive, nationwide mystery guest program across approximately 2,500 hospitality establishments. And that ranges from tiny boutique riads all the way up to massive, large-scale resorts.
This initiative in Morocco is incredibly significant because it proves that guest perception is now the literal center of classification. They're moving away from traditional infrastructure-based star ratings. The future of hospitality classification relies on experiential quality. A hotel is no longer going to be judged simply on the size of its pool or how much marble is in its lobby, but rather on how deeply the establishment understands its guests. This represents a total convergence between private excellence and public industry standards.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a vital strategic question to really reflect on regarding your own properties. Are your standards simply being met, or is your service quietly exceptional? Remember, the most important aspects of hospitality are often the least visible. It's the tone of a voice, the timing of a gesture, the feeling of being completely understood. Take these insights back to your executive teams, take a hard look at your true guest perception, and ensure your property isn't just delivering luxury, but truly embodying it. Thank you so much for joining me for this strategic briefing.